大家好，我是 Oliver Branched Island，好久不见。So it's likely that you're already infected with COVID-19 or you're recently recovered. Perhaps you still have lingering symptoms like a cough or a mucus buildup, fatigue, brain fog, or just maybe you're just uninterested in everything, even things that used to make you enjoy a lot. I had all of that too, but I'd like to impress upon you the importance of muscle building and how it can really improve your health physically and mentally. This is really focusing on the functional and the health benefits of having more muscle rather than body composition or aesthetics. It's understandable that everyone's more concerned about fevers and heart complications during the COVID pandemic. However, I'm very concerned about is the sedentariness of the millions of people that are actually not only sick, but the ones that are not sick but are too afraid to go out to exercise. The amount of muscle atrophy and deconditioning of your fitness is very high. Even up to 11% of your total muscle mass can be gone within just 10 days. And so there are signs that actually show, even at 3 days of inactivity, you have signs of atrophy. So why is having more muscle important for health? Number one is that having more muscle means there's more structural components to your muscles. There are more fibers that can actually do of the movement and the lifting. And number two is enhanced metabolic myocyte function, or just enhanced metabolic muscle function. And this has lots of big impact on the body. And there are studies that actually show people with insulin resistance after one session of exercise can have the metabolomics of someone who is insulin sensitive. This is because exercise restores glucose 6-phosphate, which is a glucose transporter, allowing for glucose to re-enter the muscle cell and then can be burned off. People with insulin resistance, they have lots of trouble disposing glucose. They have too much of it and doesn't know where to go. And so this exercise is now a very powerful tool for people with insulin resistance for them to now dispose of glucose back into the cells, which was previously inhibited. Another study showed that resistance training alone lowers blood pressure. And the reason why is because resistance training produces more nitric oxide, and this is a molecule that enlarges the blood vessels, and that lowers your blood pressure overall. Having COVID may have affected your motivation level and mood. Although you probably really don't feel like exercising, by just simply moving the body, you can actually kickstart the mind and the body so that you can start to get back into a routine. Having more muscle means that you'll have a higher quality of life, because that means that you can be playing more sports with your kids, or you can be eating whatever you want without worrying whether you should be able to eat that or not. A lot of studies also show that having more muscle mass means that you'll have a longer longevity. Okay, so if you're really concerned about the consequences of exercise after getting COVID, then you can just start by simply walking. Studies show that people who just walk and nothing else have huge health benefits compared to people who are completely sedentary. Of course, walking isn't as impactful as strength training, but we should start slowly and gradually build it up, especially if you haven't been training in a few days. When you're ready to hit the gym again, I would recommend that you start light, so aim around 60 to 75% of the weight that you're lifting before you caught COVID, and then you really want to be aiming for a higher rep range so that the intensity should be much lower due to the decrease in weight, and that allows you to hit that higher rep. Target maybe around 10 to 15 reps, and you should be moving slowly, especially during the transition points when you're changing direction, because that's where you're going to be at your most vulnerable point where you can actually have injuries. Avoid explosive, jerky moments, as those can actually increase the risk of having sprains and muscle tears. Intensity won't be very high since you're only lifting about 60% of what you were lifting before. So you can actually afford to increase the volume and go maybe 3 to 5 times a week. As you begin to feel stronger and fitter again, you can start to lift like your original weights, and then you can actually start to increase that intensity back up to where it was before COVID. So that's it, guys. I know we're all recovering from COVID, but I hope that was helpful for you. And as always, please have any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.